We take a look at museums that don't generally find a place in school expeditions or feature on tourist trails but are quite interesting, nevertheless. Museo Subacuático de Arte, Cancun, Mexico. To know every detail of the world's largest underwater exhibit, which opened in 2009, prepare to don scuba gear. For the less adventurous, there are also shallow areas for snorkeling, and there is a provision for viewing through glass-bottom boats. Each of the life-size sculptures, by Jason D. Cares Taylor, is made of pH-neutral clay to promote marine growth. Museo Atlántico, Lanzarote, Spain. Another one of Taylor's creations, this is Europe's first underwater sculpture museum and features over 300 life-size figures. Opened to public in 2017. It is accessible through scuba diving and snorkeling, or from glass-bottom boats, and is actually a huge artificial reef made of pH-neutral cement sculptures. The Museum of Bad Art, multiple locations, Massachusetts, U.S. The art here is so bad that it's actually good. If you're a budding artist, perhaps a trip to the collection, 3 different locations, may give you some tips about what not to do with a paintbrush. International Banana Museum, Mecca, California, U.S. From a putter to a record player, all shaped like a banana, this museum is loaded with anything and everything that's got to do with the fruit. International UFO Museum and Research Center, Roswell, New Mexico, U.S. The museum attempts to explore what happened during and after the infamous extraterrestrial crash in 1947. It displays wide-eyed aliens and has a lot of information for anyone who is keen to know about extraterrestrial life forms visiting the planet. Museum of Broken Relationships, multiple locations dedicated to failed romantic relationships. The museum displays personal objects left by former lovers along with brief descriptions. In 2011, the Zagreb, Croatia, museum earned the Kenneth Hudson Award for being Europe's most innovative museum. They also have a traveling exhibit and another branch in Los Angeles, California, U.S. As the museum also accepts donations, feel free to give away what left you long ago. The Bunny Museum, Altadena, California, U.S. Candace Frazee, pictured, and Steve Labansky took their love for all things bunny and converted their home into a private museum. There are more than 35,000 bunny-related items, and they hold the 2011 Guinness World Record for the same. American Visionary Art Museum, Baltimore, Maryland, U.S. The museum specializes in art created by self-taught individuals and grassroots genius. With more than 4,000 pieces of art, films, videos, and documents in their collection, the museum prefers using guest curators for shows. Cup Noodles Museum, Ikeda, Japan. It's a shrine to the creator of instant noodles and chicken ramen, Momofuku Endo. The museum is dedicated to instant noodles, cup noodles, instant ramen, and also has packages from around the world. Complete the trip with a visit to the tasting room or a workshop on preparing noodles. Museum of Death, multiple locations in U.S. focusing on the morbid and the macabre world of death education. The museum founders have collected serial killer artwork and memorabilia. They have original crime scene photos, a body bag, and replicas of full-size execution devices at their Los Angeles, pictured, and New Orleans, Louisiana, U.S. venue. The Salt and Pepper Shaker Museum, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, U.S. The Ludden family's passion for salt and pepper shakers led to the beginnings of their collection. Here you'll find over 20,000 shaker pairs dating back to the 1500s. The other half of her collection resides in a sister museum in Guadalest, Spain. National Museum of Funeral History, Houston, Texas, U.S. With the largest collection of funeral service artifacts in the country, the museum features renowned exhibits on one of man's oldest cultural customs. One can discover the mourning rituals of ancient civilizations, and see authentic items used in the funerals of U.S. presidents and popes. National Museum of Mathematics, New York City, New York, U.S. Also called MoMath, the museum can prove daunting if maths wasn't your forte in school. The dynamic exhibits included a functional bike with square wheels, brawn teasers, a fractal tree, and even weekly math challenges for children. Deutsches Currywurst Museum, Berlin, Germany. Germans were so obsessed with currywurst, pork sausage that is steamed then fried, that they created a museum for it. The exhibits are designed to satisfy many senses, and of course, the museum features currywurst in edible form, along with a map of all stalls, pictured, in the city selling the delicacy. Salem International Museum of Toilets, New Delhi, India. It's only fitting that after a food museum you visit this spot. Jokes aside, the Museum of Toilets takes hygiene and sanitation seriously, delving into the 4,500-year history of the most popular seat in the house. Meguro Parasitological Museum, Tokyo, Japan. The private research facility exhibits around 300 specimens including tapeworms, head lice and even turtle and dolphin parasites. Visitors can check out the creatures, see their life cycle and even go through research on them. The Icelandic Phallological Museum, Reykjavik, Iceland. The museum boasts of being the only one in the world to have a collection of phallic specimens from every mammal in the country. There is also a shop where you can find keepsakes such as PES bottle openers and a flasher sculpture. International Spy Museum, Washington, D.C., U.S. If you're a fan of James Bond and are always engrossed in spy tales, the museum is a must-visit for you. As the only museum in the world devoted to espionage, learn the tricks and trades of spies, both historic and fictitious. Salem Witch Museum, Salem, Massachusetts, U.S. Documenting the Salem witch trials of 1692, the museum has the original documents from the time. Visitors can also take in an exhibit on the history of witchcraft and its changing interpretations through the years. Hair Museum of Avanos, Cappadocia, Turkey. When local potter Chezgalip, pictured, asked a departing friend for a memento, she gave him a lock of her hair, and the rest is history. Gradually the collection grew, and now there are locks of hair from, according to the museum's count, 16,000 women from around the world. Visitors can also donate their own hair if they want to add to the collection. Musée des Gouttes de Paris, Paris, France. Translated as the Museums of the Sewers, it's literally about the city's expansive drainage system, dating back to when it was the Gallo-Roman Lutece. The underground lesson in the history, engineering and sanitation of Paris is also 1,640 feet, 500 meters, under the ground. International Cryptozoology Museum, Portland, Maine, U.S. From Bigfoot to the Loch Ness Monster and Yeti, visitors can take in a treasure trove of the world's most famous cryptids. Lauren Coleman, pictured, started the collection in the later half of the 20th century and started the private museum to share these one-of-a-kind artifacts. The Museum of Jurassic Technology, Los Angeles, California, U.S. The museum is dedicated to cultural curiosities that highlight the potential of human inventiveness. There is a remedy for bedwetting and nearby is an ancient calculator and dictaphone. It's a bizarre mix of art, science and ethnography that even the founder has left unexplained. Beijing Museum of Tap Water, Beijing, China. Built on the location of the city's first ever water plant, the museum displays the 90-year-old history of Beijing tap water. It has objects, models and photos to explain what the early tap looked like and how water was supplied in the early 1900s.